That's how I'm gonna show people my greatness. I got Zurdo. After that, I'm getting Bivol. After that, I'm getting Beterbiev. And there's no other people. There's no other guys that you hear calling out the biggest fights like this. I'm not only calling them out. I'm gonna make this happen.
Because I love the sport so much. You know, I love the competition.
Yeah.
And you know, once you're like that, bro, you need a dancing partner to take it to that next level.
You have to.
So when I was sparring with Bivol, bro, Bivol is a great fighter, great jab, great right hand. But the last time I sparred him, you know, we were letting everything go. He was trying to knock me out, I was trying to knock him out. And I ended up catching him in the last round.
How long ago was that?
This was 2020. I was 22 years old. This was when I just came back. That was on the undercard when I fought Earl Spence and Mikey Garcia.
Okay.
Either what Saul Canelo Alvarez says here as his price point when negotiating with Jake Paul is his real price point, or he didn't duck the Mexican monster David Benavidez. Monstro!
If he doesn't fight the number 1 or the number 2 guys, he's asking $200 million. Why, when they bring my name up with him, that's the most money he's gonna make. When he fought Amir Khan, he outweighed him at like 25 pounds. But, you know, I think it's just he's running out of excuses and running out of things to say, but that's just how it is. I guess that's when you're the cash cow, you can do whatever you want.
David Benavidez has officially set his sights on a massive unification clash with Dmitry Bivol, but rising tension with longtime rival Canelo is already heating things up. After getting his jaw broken by Anthony Joshua, Jake Paul's recent claims about Canelo have reignited fresh debate as he reveals the exact price Canelo is now demanding.
This is me talking to Canelo. I look up to you. You're inspiration. Me and you have a lot of similarities.
And I have nothing.
How much money did he want? Canelo wanted 200 million. One day we make a good fight. Until then, we could be friends. Canelo, I have the $200 million for you. Easy money. Jake Paul versus Canelo. Let's get it done. This is what the fans have been waiting for. This is the biggest fight that can possibly be made in boxing.
During a live stream, Jake revealed an online call with Canelo, claiming he invited him for a fight due to their matching styles, and says Canelo agreed on the phone.
Canelo said he's down on the phone, so we're gonna make it happen. I have the 200 million, and I think that's gonna be the next fight. So sign the contract, Canelo. Much respect to you. Let's make the biggest fight in boxing happen. That's the exclusive Kick live stream. Jake Paul versus Canelo. Official. You heard it here first.
This has definitely angered Benavidez, who hits back hard, exposing what he claims are the real reasons behind Canelo's demands and calling out the excuses from his fan base.
PBC and Al Heyman and Samson were negotiating, and you know, Canelo didn't show no interest to fight me. So like I said, I'm not gonna put my career on pause because somebody else doesn't want to fight me. So I'm gonna go try to conquer other weight divisions and win other crowns. It doesn't have anything to do with promotions, pain, or none of that. Canelo don't want to fight. Like, it's crazy how you guys can't see that. Some of the fans can't see that. He don't want to fight.
I guess the gossip is that there is a lack of money.
Oh, it's all bullshit. Bro, it's all bullshit, bro. Every time Canelo says no, all his fanboys come up with the fucking million excuses for him. Bro, if Canelo wanted to fight me, and he knows that's the most lucrative fight to be made right now, if he really wanted to make all that fucking money, the fight would have been made.
And as a result, Benavidez has now announced a mega unification clash with Bivol, warning the consequences could be painful and insisting he will bring the same kind of damage he delivered against Zurdo inside the ring.
You know, for a fight to change and fight to end, it only needs 1 second or one good combination. So I know that I told you guys over and over then that I did this to Zurdo Ramirez in the ring. I did the same thing to Dmitry Bivol. You know, I'm not trying to be cocky, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but those are just the facts. You know what I mean? So I'm coming into this 100% confidence already. I'm not riding on my high horse. I'm not letting the confidence just lead me because I still put in the work. So I put in so much work. That's why I work so hard. You know, people always ask me, why do you train 4 or 5 months? I'm like, bro, because at the end of the day, these are the top level guys. You got to give them the respect they deserve in the ring.
Facing Bivol is the biggest challenge for Benavidez, but he insists he is built for these moments, made to take on elite fighters and prove why he is a great fighter.
There was no stone left unturned. I made sure I worked on everything. The defense was good. The offense was good. The combinations was good. The power was good. So, man, I just, you know, I'm a different type of fighter. And I need these great fighters for me to show you guys that I'm a different type of fighter. I don't shy away from nobody. You know, I love the challenge. At the end of the day, I've been professional 13 years. I made it to the spot in my life where, like, the only thing that excites me are the big challenges.
No Jai Opatea, no Beterbiev. Benavidez makes it clear he wants only Bivol, with his eyes fully locked on the belts Bivol currently holds.
Bivol is really he's the only fight I really want, like that I truly want.
If Bivol's going to decide to vacate instead, would it then be Beterbiev, who's #1 in that WBA position at light heavyweight? And if let's say they're going to have a trilogy with each other, do you look at Opatea at cruiserweight right now instead of going back to 175? And yeah, how do you look at that, David?
I mean, no, because the only thing I want, like I set these goals out for myself. Bivol is really he's the only fight I really want, like that I truly want, because he has all the belts.
Staying true to his nature, the Mexican monster is eyeing a rival of Canelo, a man who once tested Canelo and even beat him. With Canelo not currently on the table, Benavidez has shifted his focus to Bivol. After taking belts from Zurdo, he now wants Bivol's titles and believes he can achieve it. He is not interested in a Zuffa belt, though he sidelines Opatea while still saying he would follow fans' demands if needed.
You know what I mean? After I beat Bivol, I'm gonna have, right now I have 8 titles. You know, 3 of them are interim, 3 of them world championships at super middleweight, light heavyweight. Now I got 2 of them at cruiserweight. I really want those belts. You know, I want those accolades. So that's the only thing I want right now. You know, I'm not thinking about Opatea. I'm not thinking about none of these guys, because this is a fight I want, and it makes sense for both of us. But I mean, if it comes to the worst case scenario, you know, it's funny too, because we don't even know about Joe Opatea now. You know, I don't know what's going on with Zuffa. You know, and from what I hear, my people and their people, they're really hard. They don't like to work with each other. So, but you know, if that's what the people want, I'm here to cater to the people.
And with recent claims from Jake Paul suggesting Canelo is eyeing a $200 million deal, allegedly discussed over a phone call, things are starting to look worse for Benavidez's long-standing claim that Canelo has been avoiding him. A fighter he has chased for years now seems focused elsewhere, raising serious questions. Benavidez is now calling on Canelo fans to admit that their so-called champion is disrespecting them and ignoring the fights they truly want to see.
What I wanted to tell you guys too, I mean, this guy, he's making the most money out of everybody. He's charging you guys so much for the pay-per-views. It's like he's spitting in your guys' face, saying that he doesn't give a f what you guys want. He's not going to give you the best fights. He's going to fight the fights that he wants. In my opinion, that's a little bit disrespectful to the fans, but he has cult-like fans that, you know, they don't tell him shit and they're happy with whatever he does. But at the end of the day, if you hold all the titles, you got to fight the best in the division. I'm #1 in the division, #1 contender. The second one is David Morrell. He's not fighting me, nor he's not fighting David Morrell. So it makes no sense. How is he going to call himself the champion?
This is what a true champion does? That is the question Benavidez raises to Canelo's fans, urging them to accept that Canelo has been avoiding him and now appears set for a $200 million fight with Paul. He argues this is damaging his legacy and shows a lack of respect for the sport. Benavidez makes it clear that Canelo and his supporters have nothing left to offer but excuses, and in his view, weak ones.
And have all these belts if he doesn't fight the #1 or the #2 guys. He's asking $200 million. Why, when they bring my name up with him, that's the most money he's gonna make. When he fought Amir Khan, he outweighed him at like 25 pounds. But you know, I think it's just he's running out of excuses and running out of things to say, but that's just how it is. I guess that's when you're the cash cow, you can do whatever you want.
Showbiz the Adult reacts with visible disbelief after watching the viral clip of Jake Paul offering Canelo $200 million. He admits the situation is almost laughable, but says this is exactly the direction Canelo has been moving in. He points out that Canelo has openly stated in multiple interviews that if a promoter offers that kind of money, he is willing to fight whoever is in front of him, making the situation worse. And fans now think, was this the same reason Canelo went on to fight William Skull and kept ducking Benavidez?
Listen, $200 million. I know you guys have heard that price point before.
I'm the one. So, but one promoter who I work to, they come and say, I offer to you 150 to 200 million. I fight tomorrow.
And here's where it gets interesting, as Showbiz the Adult highlights a provocative point for fans to consider, saying the $200 million demand from Canelo is nothing new and was also previously linked to a potential fight with Benavidez. He questions the inconsistency in public reaction, noting that when Canelo asked for the same money against Benavidez, he was accused of ducking, yet now, with Jake Paul involved, he is not being questioned in the same way, creating a clear contradiction in how the situation is viewed.
Now, when he asked for that to fight the Mexican Monster, we all saw that as a gross price point. And that was the moment where we said, okay, he has ducked the Mexican Monster, pricing himself out. None of us in our right mind would think that he's ducking Jake Paul right now for asking for $200 million. So here's the thing. Either that is Saul Canelo Alvarez's price point when he sees an op that is a big op and a big fight and a big event that can yield that much money. Now, think about it.
The situation becomes even more intriguing as fans question, if Canelo is not ducking Benavidez, then why is a fight with Jake Paul even being considered at the same price point? Is Canelo simply picking his opponents based on business appeal, where a YouTuber turned boxer with massive audience pull becomes the more attractive option, or is he avoiding one of the generational talents of this era in the Mexican Monster, a claim that refuses to neatly fit into the idea of ducking?
So, bro, if Jake Paul has the money for him, I know His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh has money for. Wait a second. Now, it's either Saul Canelo Alvarez is a brilliant businessman, or he knows what he said about the $200 million price point to get the Mexican Monster, David Benavidez, in the ring, and say, let me go back to that, use that to make the war room that boxing fans do what we're doing now. No, Canelo Alvarez isn't a duck. 200 million is his price point when he thinks of a big enough fight. Hit the Tyson bell.
Such tactics from Canelo leave a questionable mark on his greatness, while David Benavidez emerges as the true Mexican Monster and a real champion unafraid of anyone placed in front of him. Instead of chasing money fights, he is focused on legacy and greatness. After defeating Zurdo, he is now targeting Dmitry Bivol and then plans to face Beterbiev. Unlike Canelo, who is seen avoiding certain challenges, Benavidez continues to push toward the toughest fights in the division.
That's how you measure your greatness, you know what I mean? I'm going against a unified champion. I have no fear in this, you know what I mean? I'm 100%, I have supreme confidence in myself. And that's how it's gonna have to be, you know, that's how I'm gonna show people my greatness. And I got Zurdo. After that, I'm getting Bivol. After that, I'm getting Beterbiev. And there's no other people, there's no other guys that you hear calling out the biggest fights like this. And I'm not only calling them out, I'm gonna make this happen.
No, nobody else is calling out guys like that. I mean, they're trying to get the biggest names for the most amount of money with the least challenge, right? Mm-hmm. And that's the same pattern you see with all those guys, but not you. And I think you've also learned, hey, these guys are going to avoid me. I'm going to have to force my way in there.
Yeah.
Instead of chasing money fights, Benavidez is focused on chasing greatness and insists he has never prioritized financial bouts. He believes that by delivering the best performances and defeating opponents the way he plans, he will prove himself as the best in the competition. In his view, beating top fighters will solidify his legacy far more than any short-term payday. He adds that money fights will naturally come his way later, but he has no intention of chasing them.
Well, not worried, but what I was focusing more on is beating the best competition. Once you beat the best competition, there's no more fear in there, bro. And you have extreme confidence in yourself. So once I beat all these other guys, okay, it's smooth sailing for the next couple fights. All I got to do is get through these hard fights, you know what I mean? Everything else is, you know what I mean, is going to take care of itself. So that's the way I see it. I see it like as, all right, I'm going to have to do it eventually. Let me do it now while I'm in my prime. And I have the most spirit and the most confidence in myself right now. And let me get through these guys, and then we'll see what comes after on the other side. But imagine, bro, once you get the biggest fights, even if you don't get the money, the biggest money then and there, you do the performance speaks for itself, and your stock is just gonna keep going.
Absolutely.
Making his plans clear, Benavidez has laid out his next move, confirming a return to light heavyweight with his eyes firmly set on an undisputed clash against unified champion Bivol, who is also scheduled to meet Michael Eifert on May 30. The unbeaten fighter says discussions with Bivol's camp are already underway and remains confident the showdown could be finalized before the year ends. After gaining momentum at cruiserweight, he now shifts full focus focus to 175, stressing that the long-anticipated fight is edging closer to reality and could soon be officially announced.
I'm not a dirty fighter. I don't use dirty tactics, and that elbow that I hit him with was, completely unintentional. But when you're throwing punches and bunches like that, man, I was throwing 10-piece combinations every combination I threw, so it's sometimes that happens. But like I said, I'm not a dirty fighter. I've never been a dirty fighter, and I never will be a dirty fighter. So for anybody saying that I elbowed him intentionally, I didn't elbow any. I've never been a dirty fighter, like I said, and I didn't do that intentionally.
Talking about the potential Benavidez versus Bivol showdown, Sean Porter says this fight brings more intrigue than a third meeting between Bivol and Artur Beterbiev. He notes that Beterbiev's approach is straightforward and easier to prepare for, whereas Benavidez brings relentless pressure, high volume, and constant chaos. Porter believes both Benavidez and Bivol have the power and skill to seriously trouble each other, making the risk on both sides very real. For him, that mutual danger is exactly what makes this matchup the most exciting option in the division right now.
With Beterbiev, he's not complicated. He's going to be right there to hit and be hit, and like we saw with Bivol, it's up to Bivol to make the right moves, not be in the wrong spots at the right time. But with this fight with Benavidez, to me, there's just so much more that both these guys can do against one another that it makes it a better fight than a trilogy match with Beterbiev.
As attention shifts toward Benavidez's next step, Tim Bradley offers a clear warning for his supporters. He explains that Bivol's style presents a tough puzzle for aggressive fighters to crack. Bradley highlights Bivol's precise footwork, calm control, and high fight IQ as the key tools that could disrupt Benavidez's rhythm from the opening bell. While he still expects the matchup to be competitive and high in intensity, he ultimately feels Bivol's discipline and technical sharpness are built to slow down pressure fighters and take control of the pace. In his view, that tactical edge could be the deciding factor if the fight happens.
Bivol, if he fights Bivol has the perfect style to beat him. Oh, I'm sorry to tell y'all, man. For real. Y'all come in for the real. Hey, I like me some David Benavidez. I do. Shit, I can't wait till we fight again. But Bivol is a recipe for disaster. Now, would it be a fight? Hell yeah. It'll be a fight. David Benavidez, he don't go nowhere easy. Hell no. But when you got good feet that matches with this, right? And you understand the sweet science.
As Benavidez moves forward with Bivol as his main target, Andre Dirrell delivers a blunt and critical assessment of the matchup. He suggests that Benavidez's biggest stylistic weakness would be exposed against a fighter like Bivol, whom he calls the final boss of the division. Dirrell highlights footwork as the deciding factor, warning that Benavidez may struggle to trap him or close the gap. He believes Bivol's movement, ring control, and distance management would ultimately give him the advantage and shape the outcome of the fight.
I don't think he can beat Bivol. I don't think there's literally like nothing he can do to get the victory. I ain't saying they ain't gonna be close. What I'm saying is nothing he can do to win. I think Bivol will edge him out as far as moving. How David pursues versus how well Bivol moves and punches along with his movement will simply be too much for David. He'll be trying to figure it out. He'll be more determined as each round progresses, right? And he'll never give up.
From Benavidez chasing a massive unification clash with Bivol to experts split over how that fight plays out, and Canelo once again at the center of controversy, this story is only getting bigger. Every angle points to one thing: the light heavyweight division is about to explode with drama, risk, and legacy-defining moments. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit like, subscribe for more fight updates, and comment your prediction. Does Benavidez finally conquer Bivol, or does Canelo's shadow still control the conversation?